30 of JL's Movie Life. This week I'm reviewing The Hobbit. I was looking very much forward to The Hobbit because I loved Lord of the Rings, and one of the big problems with The Hobbit, I liked this movie. I liked this part one of The Hobbit. It has some stupid subtitle because they decided to divide The Hobbit, which was one small book, into 3 parts, and I disagree with that completely, and I can tell my guess is that the next 2 Hobbit films are not going to be very good. I could be wrong, but this one may be the best of the 3. Now, I think it's still not as good as any of the Lord of the Rings movies, but that's no shame because I love those movies. So this one I thought was very good, but not great. But here, let me demonstrate the problem. Okay, here are the Lord of the Rings books. Okay, 3 relatively thick books, 3 movies. Okay, here's The Hobbit. Okay, not even just a small book. 3 movies also, because Hollywood is full of whores. So in other words, they've had to drag out, stretch, add, supplement the original story. In other words, this could have been a very manageable 2.5-hour movie in its entirety, but instead it's going to be, an 8.5-hour monstrosity, most likely, when they're done. Not to denigrate, we're only reviewing part 1, but could be in trouble for the future of the trilogy, because it's not even really a trilogy. Anyway, the movie basically centers on the finding of the ring. That is the subject of the Lord of the Rings. Bilbo Baggins, a hobbit, goes off with 12 dwarves and Gandalf the wizard to try and reclaim the homeland of the dwarves, which has been taken from them in an epic loss to a giant dragon. Now, I'm sure this plot has already turned on most of the women watching this review. This plot probably makes the Lord of the Rings sound like a Nicholas Sparks movie to most women, because this is just pure nerd geek fantasy. At least Lord of the Rings, they had some handsome actors and Liv Tyler making out with Viggo Mortensen to just give you a little something. But this is pure dude geek nonsense. But I liked it. I saw it in 3D. I think it's the only way it's available. The 3D I thought was very good, but I would say save your money on the IMAX, because it's actually one of these movies that's not filmed in IMAX, so it never takes up the whole IMAX screen. So that's just, they try to fuck you at the movie theaters, but that's not really a complaint about the movie. It's solid. It made me remember that in 6th grade, my school put on a play, my 6th grade class put on a play of The Hobbit, which it was not a play. Obviously somebody adapted it for 6th graders to make fools of themselves. And I'll never forget, I was the tallest kid in the class, and I played Gloin, I believe, who was one of the 12 dwarves, which makes sense, considering that I was bigger than everybody in my class. But the 3 trolls, who were supposed to be much, much larger than the dwarves, played by 3 guys significantly shorter than me, which I always found funny. It took a real leap of imagination for the parents to watch that play, the parents and students of the school to watch that play, and realize, hey, why isn't that 5'7" freak dwarf kicking the shit out of those 5'3" allegedly gigantic trolls? Oh well, but it still brought back fond memories. The effects are good in the movie. It definitely has the same feel. It's Peter Jackson, so it has the same feel as The Lord of the Rings, but it's definitely not quite as good as The Lord of the Rings, which is no shame. But the plot of the movie, they made it about at least halfway through the book, at least halfway through, if not a little bit more than The Hobbit, which means in the next 2 movies, which will presumably be about 5.5 to 6 hours of movie making, they've only got like 140 pages left to work with, which just makes me think there's going to be a lot of filler and a lot of bullshit. But we're not just reviewing those movies now, so as far as The Hobbit Part 1 goes, whatever they decided to name it, B+/A-, because I did like it, but not feeling good about the future of this trilogy. So that's it for this week. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.